Okay, so think about stepping into worlds so real you can, practically feel the damp air of the Shire or hear the swords clanging in Westeros. That incredible depth, that feeling of a place being actually lived in. Well, that's world building.
Right.
And yeah, it's definitely the backbone of big fantasy epics.
Yeah.
But the spark behind it, I think that's something way more universal.
Absolutely. We all know these fictional universes as readers or viewers, but the act of actually building them, brick by imaginative brick, that's not just for novelists.
No, definitely not.
And today, we're diving into this really fascinating perspective from a creator on YouTube, Euluscry. They make a case that world building is, well, rewarding and accessible for basically everyone.
Regardless of whether you've got a novel brewing or not at all.
Exactly.
So our mission today really is to explore that idea that the joy, the benefits of world building, they go way beyond the published page.
And the scope we're talking about, it's kind of wild when you think about it.
It really is. Euluscry's insights remind us it can be anything from like crafting intricate financial systems for butterfly folk on Mars to meticulously detailing the geological history of some imaginary mountain range. The possibilities are just endless.
And it's that limitless potential that's so appealing, I think. One of the core ideas that really shines through from Euluscry is this simple, almost radical idea that world building can be just plain fun.
Just fun. Pure creativity without any pressure attached.
No kidding. We're talking about the freedom to dream up the economics of those Martian butterflies without needing to worry if it makes sense to anyone else or if it's going to turn a profit.
It's just creativity unleashed.
Yeah.
The joy of it.
Euluscry really emphasizes tapping back into that sort of childlike wonder of creation, recapturing that feeling of making something just because you're inspired without that heavy weight of expectations or external approval.
And this is such a powerful reminder for you listening, I think. Even if the thought of writing a whole novel feels, daunting, world building offers this incredibly refreshing artistic outlet, precisely because those commercial pressures just aren't there.
Think about it. What are the chances you're going to publish like a best-selling travel guide to a completely made-up world that isn't already part of some massive franchise?
Pretty slim, right?
Very slim. And it's in that unlikelihood and that freedom from the market that you can find this real artistic liberation.
You're building it for yourself first.
Yeah.
Exploring ideas because you find them interesting.
And what's cool here is how world building can become this amazing lens for exploring interests you already have.
Oh, yeah? How so?
Well, are you fascinated by collecting coins? Great. Invent the currency of a lost civilization. Give it its own detailed history, its cultural meaning.
Okay, see.
Or maybe you're obsessed with birds.
Oh.
Ornithology. Design a whole evolutionary tree of fantastical owl species with unique behaviors and ecosystems.
Cooler owls. I like it.
Yeah. Or even if your passion is something abstract, like mathematics, you can still world build by imagining totally new mathematical systems and the kinds of universes they might go.
Without needing any real-world application.
Exactly. It's purely exploration.
So, okay, you might be thinking, sounds amazing, but where on earth do I even begin?
Right, the how-to question.
Yeah. And it's fascinating that Euluscry's advice actually kind of steers clear of rigid step-by-step guides. The message seems to be there isn't one correct way to start building a world.
That's a really crucial point. Unlike, say, more structured creative writing exercises, this kind of personal world building is all about your own exploration, your own discovery.
The process itself is part of the fun.
Exactly, and the learning.
Euluscry shares the advice their past self might offer. Just grab onto that initial spark, that first idea, and just start sketching around it. Spontaneous. Don't censor yourself. Don't worry about experimenting or even tossing out ideas that don't quite land.
Yeah, it's okay if things don't work out. It's all part of that organic process.
And for those moments when you feel totally stuck, the simplest advice is often the best. Just let your hand move.
Put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard.
Right, and just create something, anything, without judging it.
Yeah.
That first little act can sometimes be the catalyst that gets everything else moving.
I especially loved this concept Euluscry brings up, Daydream world.
Oh yeah, tell me more about that.
It's about layering these imaginative interpretations onto your everyday experiences. So you're driving through your city.
Okay.
And suddenly, in your mind, it transforms into this sprawling, multi-layered sci-fi metropolis. You start wondering about the megacore that built the towers or the hidden societies maybe living underneath.
Ah, I see. So you're adding a narrative layer to reality.
Precisely. Or, you see some rolling hills and imagine they're the shells of giant ancient turtles sleeping under the earth.
That's a fantastic way to inject some wonder into the mundane, actively engaging your imagination, seeing things differently.
It's like adding this secret story layer just for yourself.
And it doesn't stop with just like looking around, does it?
No, not at all. You can extend it to how you consume art. Think about taking a musician's entire catalog. Ulesky mentioned someone named Bill W., I think.
Right.
And imagining all those songs unfolding within one single interconnected universe.
That's such a cool way to deepen your connection with the music. You start thinking about recurring characters, overarching storylines, the geography of their shared world.
It taps into our natural tendency to find patterns and build narratives, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Daydream world building basically harnesses that innate human thing and consciously applies it to the art we experience. You become sort of an active participant.
Even just as an audience member, which kind of flows perfectly into this next idea, right?
Yeah.
World building as a tool to enrich the art we already enjoy.
Even if the original creator didn't explicitly set out to build a massive world.
It turns out that a lot of the art we really connect with probably does have some level of underlying world building, whether it's, labeled that way or not.
Exactly. Think about artists who keep returning to certain themes or characters or places across their work. That's a kind of implicit world building happening.
So by consciously adding that story, that lore, to the background of your own art, or even just imagining it in art you love,
both overtly and in those little hidden,
you can really deepen the whole experience.
The examples from The Lord of the Rings are just perfect here.
Oh, yeah.
Those poems and songs scattered throughout the books, they aren't just random filler.
No, definitely not.
They're deeply woven into the history, the different cultures, the actual fabric of Middle-earth. They add so many layers of meaning and resonance.
It's fascinating how those smaller pieces, just because they're embedded in that rich world, gain this significance, this emotional weight they might not have on their own.
Right. The context the world provides just amplifies their impact massively.
And then Ulesky highlights those great musical examples too. Pilot Red Sky.
Yeah, with that ongoing narrative told not just in the music, but through their YouTube thumbnails and artwork.
So it rewards you for digging a bit deeper, looking beyond just the tracks themselves.
Totally. And N. Noon's album, Gate, where they provide that whole fictional backstory in the video description about the two non-human musicians who supposedly made it.
That completely reframes how you listen to it, doesn't it? How you interpret the sounds.
Absolutely. These examples just beautifully show how intentional world building can create this much stronger connection between the artist and the audience.
By giving you that extra layer, those stories behind the songs,
the art becomes more immersive, more inviting. It encourages you, the listener, to actively participate, to explore the world the artist has put out there.
So, okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, the big takeaway seems clear. World building isn't some, exclusive club just for fantasy authors.
Not at all.
It's really this powerful key that can unlock your own creativity, let you explore your passions in totally new ways, and ultimately just deepen your appreciation for both the art you find and maybe the world around you too.
It really is that breeze that breathes fairy laughter into your heart, as Ulesky put it so nicely.
Yeah, that was a great line.
It's about cultivating an appreciation for, the stories behind the stories, those hidden narratives that can give our experiences so much more depth and richness.
So for you, the listener, maybe the thought is to just go forward with a slightly heightened awareness. Start looking for those potential hidden worlds, those narratives within the art you love.
Or even just in the familiar landscapes of your everyday life.
Yeah. And maybe, just maybe, try your hand at sketching out a tiny corner of your own imaginary world. No pressure, purely for the fun of it.
You really might be surprised by what you discover.